I'll tell you one thing. BC roads right now are treacherous. The heavy wet snow was 2 inches, 2.5 inches on my car when I got up this morning. By the time I went outside, Amy had left early. By the time I went outside, get the kids breakfast, went outside, it was changing to rain, freezing pellets. Just about the worst weather to travel, race, live in. But that's the way it is. Now it's going to switch over to rain, and it's going to make one ungodly mess for the entirety of the rest of the day. I have no idea how the track crew is going to be able to have the track in any sort of shape for tonight. I wish them the best. Listen, I'll go race Rosetta. I want to race Rosetta, but man, oh man, this is a tall order. Yeah, and everybody on the roads knows it too. At least everybody's being safe. I'm doing 15 miles an hour. Now, it's not like this is the Autobahn. I'm on a country road, but it's usually pretty solid 45, 55 through here. And I'm doing 20 now. Anyway, man, a great day at the office yesterday. I was so excited to watch Felix. Now, Felix did leave for Ohio to go to Pennsylvania next week. Last night, very late. The shipping company called and said, would you mind if we left really early in the morning? I'm just really worried about the snow that's coming in. I said, no, it's no problem. Dominic had just given Felix a shot of Butte when he got back to the barn and some electrolyte paste, and he'll be fine. The biggest problem that they were going to face, obviously, is just the weather, getting the horse over here. I had pause. I'm looking at the race and I'm like, man, he's getting better. He looks good, but I'd be remiss if I didn't just say that Rosetta's a better fit for that class, and we have horses getting ready to go. And the problem we have over here is that our horses aren't getting in at the Meadows the when they should, because his PA owned or bred. Well, never lose, Felix is a Pennsylvania bred horse, so he's going to get in. Now, Friday back Thursday, I have no idea. But at the same time, man, this is slick. But at the same time, it's just a better fit for him. I think he's done well. And if historically speaking, if you look at our horses, they transition very well from Woodbine to the Meadows, right? Looks like Money was kind of floundering and lost definitely in the Open, but even in the class below that, then he came over here and just exploded forward. But that's where you get that classification difference, right? You get that simple difference in competition level. And that's to take nothing away from the Meadows, but it's not Mohawk, right? It's Mohawk, and I had a great conversation with Dominic last night about the horses. Every so often, I like to have, I guess, just a very personal conversation with the trainers, just to get their feel, get what they're thinking, where the stable and the horses are heading, and then just interject my thoughts. And my thoughts, quite frankly, are an extension of your thoughts. And this is part and parcel of all of us being in lockstep, right? It's impossible for all 900 and some of us to agree on everything. But the direction of the stable is still the direction of the stable. And, in reference to Felix, he's not going to race 35 times as a 3-year-old. So he's raced, 2, 3, 4 times now. He's got to win maybe before Christmas, I think. He's got to win. He raced good last night, but I want to get him into a position where we can put some wins on the column. Now, when there's a 2, he should be able to mop at the Meadows. And again, there's no cakewalks, there's no gimmies. I'm not going to bring Felix over to the Meadows and he's going to be 1 to 5 and run off with the earplugs in. That's not going to happen. But the competition is a bit softer. It's hard to gauge that because you're like, well, they only went 2 minutes at Mohawk. Well, the track's terrible right now there, right? And this is what happens, and this is exactly what I'm talking about in relation to Northfield Park tonight. When you miss a track and then it freezes, you just missed it. You can't put a cushion on concrete from concrete. It's not going to happen. So you have to be able to have a cushion on it as it's freezing. It's incredibly difficult to do. And when you miss it, it's human nature. It happens. Now, looking at the results now, we'll talk about some of the races that went well, but that non-winners of 2 is usually a 57, 58 mile, generally speaking. And they were scattered across the track, just strewn across the track in 2 minutes. So anyway, Felix is he may actually be in the burn when I get there. And I just think that Rosetta is a better fit. I mean, if you're gonna, push comes to shove and you're gonna put me on the spot, Rosetta's a better horse. Simple as that. She's got 1 win, no money, not a ton of money made, maybe a hair more than Felix, but only 1 win. And a lot of those classes are non-winners of 2, fillies and mares 3, right? Non-winners of 3, fillies and mares 4. And Rosetta's another one too. I just want to start getting her moving in the right direction. She was awesome at the Meadows. Not a very good track tonight if we race, but I suspect she'll be good tonight also. Then she'll head over to Ontario tomorrow. So, what else? Last night, so we had, Time Is On My Side it's hard for me to quantify, to explain to you. I'm trying to do my best to explain. He won, right? How he won, that's impressive. He can win on the front, he can win from the 2-hole, he can win. I'm not going to try him first over. Being parked the whole way is not technically first over. But he won from behind yesterday, and he did it when he wasn't awesome, right? Coming in on 10 days, light training, no hard training, light training, being shod close to the race, and he wasn't at his best yesterday. Didn't get off the car good, didn't want to really truly accelerate down the backstretch, but when he caught up to them and there was blood in the water, he turned into a shark, and he was very, very good yesterday. Chevron's bypass, a couple of you messaged me, she's just not that good. Okay, I can't disagree with that. But, and James said she was really rough in the last turn. I said, well, she's a coward, and you can't move her first over the way you did. And I know I'd said that to you last week, and you were in a position you had to come, and nobody was going to cover you up. I get that. But she just doesn't seem that good when she's in the outer flow in the last turn. From what I can see, anyway. So was there a shoeing difficulty? I don't believe she has flip-flops on. I think she has normal shoes. In fact, I know she does. In fact, I know that Dominic switched her from steel shoes and I believe flip-flops up front to 4 aluminums. Last week was her first start with them on. If I'm not mistaken, now that I say it out loud, I'm going to follow up with Dominic, but I believe this was her second start with four aluminum shoes on. James said she was quite rough in the last turn. Her feet might have been a little sore, might have been a little bit pinchy. She might have been slipping anyway. But I think the biggest takeaway, from my standpoint, is you got to keep her bottled up in the last turn. You just have to. And then the next 2 horses race great. Never Lose Felix beat a snout for second, closing the last 100 yards and looked good doing it. I was happy with him. And then Foxy Seaside. It was cool. So obviously we don't know a lot of people over here, right? I know a lot of people everywhere, but not a lot of people that come over for dinner, right? Drop by to say hi and sit down and have a drink. It's just not me. Amy and I don't have a ton of, and we didn't in Guelph either. It's not like we hosted events in Guelph. So last night, Ava's friend Maeve has a younger brother who's friends with Ollie, and they went tubing yesterday. I told you guys they're at the ski hill, and they come over, and their mom come over, and nice lady, and Foxy's race is on, and she's watching me watch the post parade, and I could kind of see her in the corner of my eye, and I said, hey, there's the one guy that didn't make it. There's a fallen soldier in the ditch right there. That's a Tesla. Not going to help you in there. Now, I'm on the highway. I'm doing 44 miles an hour. Man, not a good day to be on the roads. So she's watching. I said, this is our horse, and that's my brother driving the horse, and her daughter rides horses too. So, and the way she raced was awesome. The thing I loved about her was just subtly, even from the toe board to the wire, it looks like James maybe just asked her a little bit. You could see her kick forward again, very late in the mile after taking over the lead. And that you hear me talk about, and not so much this year, as we haven't been training them that way just yet, but that merciless behavior where they where they clear to the front and they're gone. They don't care that horses are around. They don't hesitate, and in fact, they power away from them. And it's a good feeling, and it's a good trait to have for the horses. And Foxy Seaside had an open bridle on last night. She's been racing in an open. So here's a filly with an open bridle. She's head and shoulders gone, the best. She's driving away from the horses, and then as she's 2 or 3 lengths ahead, late in the stretch, it seems like James just called on her ever so slightly again, and she took off again to the wire. That's how it seemed to me anyway. I didn't ask him, but that's how it seemed to me. And I was just really impressed with her outing. The thing I love the most about her, and you guys know this, her biggest problem last year was mental, right? It was a mental thing. She just didn't really grasp the finer points of racing, and she was hot. And she, I was going to say fractious. She made breaks, but her lines didn't show how fractious she actually was. But for her to put it all together and start being a nice horse, definitely a horse we'd be proud to have and very interested in. I was saying to the lady, I said, we put 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 horses away with question marks hanging on their halters last year. And if 1 or 2 or 3 of them come back to be Never Lose Felix or Foxy Seaside, that's good. Sure, there's going to be 7 that come back, and they are what we were worried they were, which is just not going to be stable horses, and we're going through that right now. You guys know that. I don't have to tell you, but it's worth it to have those 2 or 3, maybe 4 that really come out swinging, and it looks like. Listen, Foxy Seaside didn't win the elimination of the Breeders' Crown last night. She won a maiden, but the way she did it certainly makes you feel that there's way more under the hood than that, and it was impressive. So tonight we got Blue Ventura. I know Dominic called again, and he said, "Hey, you sure you want to close this colt up?" I said, "Dom, why is this so loud?" I said, "Dom, he raced with clothes on all last year. Put the chain in his mouth, and he'll be fine. I'll talk to James about the horse before the race." So a real watershed moment for him also. What's Blue Ventura going to do? Where's he going to go from here? Is he going to make his way over to Ohio, or is he going to hang out in Ontario for a little bit? I would say tonight may answer that definitively. If not, should definitely tilt the needle in one direction or the other. So we'll see how Blue Ventura does tonight. But you guys know this. There's such a thin line between being a stake horse, stake competitive horse, a stake competitor, an overnight horse, and what we just want is competitive animals. If Blue Ventura is not a stake horse, that's fine. Should be able to be a very competitive overnight horse and do well for us. And if he finds his way back to that level where he was last year, where he's almost a Stallion Series, but not quite, there's still lots of racing for that horse. He's already been in 53, I think, 54. So we know we should be able to get him back there. How we do it? Well, we'll see. Rosetta tonight, again, I can't stress enough. Here, I can't stress enough how bad the weather is. And it's just starting. It's going to switch completely to rain. Pour rain. I don't know. I'm skeptical, put it that way. And then we have Arson and Neptune tonight. I don't know what they're getting pounded with in Ontario, but again, if it's a lot of that heavy, wet snow, that's incredibly difficult to remove. And then when you do get it off, condition the track in such a manner that you're able to race. It's just bad weather, bad timing right now. Tomorrow, we have greatest ending in southern Ohio. I don't think they're getting mauled. Might be some rain, maybe. I'm not sure. JK Victory and Patrick DePerano will race here at Northfield Park. And then Monday, it's going to start to freeze hard. I'm going to make my way over to Ontario to drive our boy Spitfire overseas. Drebin is going to race, and Trosa, of course. James lobbied hard to keep Trosa in Ontario, and then he draws the 10-hole. It is not ideal. Not an ideal situation for there. And then Tuesday, I'm going to tell you what. For those of you out there, I like to, when I can, this is not a forum for gamblers, for wagering. You can discern whatever you want from what I'm saying and pick up whatever nuggets are left. But I will tell you this, Dancing by Myself's lines are not great. And he trained very, very good when he got to Northfield Park. I believe... And that is how icy it really is here in Ohio. Now, luckily, I grew up my entire life in Prince Edward Island. And in the wintertime, this would be called a Saturday. I'm going to tell you what, if you are in the greater Cleveland area, I would not venture out if I were you. Unless you have to. And in hindsight, I didn't really have to either. So, Tuesday, I trained 2 horses in the race bike yesterday. I am getting out of this lane. It is pure slush. There we go. I trained 2 horses on Friday. Admiral Dio. Well, I'll just tell you how the mile went. Take whatever you want from it. 2-2 last quarter and 28-1. He's going to be razor sharp come Tuesday. Is he good enough to be competitive? Well, he should be. It's a horse that paced 54, 55 pretty regularly when we first got him. He's sound. My concern was, does he have something bothering him? Is he lame? With 0 lameness, here's a horse that doesn't need any poles at Northfield Park. He's not going to have to do anything differently than he did on Friday. He's just going to have to do it faster. Now, I don't know how fast that class will go. Well, it's the class, I believe, that Don't Believe Me Just Watches in. And if Admiral Dio can't pace 58, I will strip down naked and run around the track on Tuesday. Now, I better not say that. Somebody's going to hold me to that. I would be shocked if he couldn't pace 58 pretty handily on Tuesday. Now, maybe he's a horse that trains good, and he's just getting to be where he's a little bit of a coward at the track. I don't get that feeling from him either. I just think he needed a bit of a shake-up. He got one. He's going to be very tight and very sharp come Tuesday. Dancing by Myself, we trained Thursday. Was it Thursday? We trained, no, it couldn't have been because I was in the first race. When we trained Melisandre. It might have been Wednesday. Melisandre, Dancing by Myself, Leggy, and Mountaineer Prince together. We won a mile in 2-2. No, it was freezing cold, so it was Wednesday. We won a mile in 2-2 last half in 59-3. Tyler went by me down the backstretch like I was headed, they were headed in the other direction. I get out behind them with Melisandre. Melisandre's been training very good. And I moved her over, and they trotted as hard as they could right through the wire. 2-2 last half, 59-3. Where Tyler came from, it was 59-1. I think he's probably got a really good shot on Tuesday. So you have 2 horses that are looking at that don't show great lines coming into Tuesday. And I know all the time I get our clients saying, well, everybody sees that. That's why the horses are bet down. It's not my job to ensure the horses pay a lot, right? It's not my job. My job is to give everybody the information, and if people want to watch these videos, then so be it. Thank you for watching the videos. And if every so often I can glean a little bit of helpful information into everybody's day, then so be it. And when it comes to those 2 horses on Tuesday, they might be like 6-1 and 25-1 morning line. But unless I have not seen the horses they're racing against, so I have no idea. So take that with a grain of salt. Maybe there's some good horses in there. Maybe 2-2 as a trotter isn't enough. Maybe, as I said, 58 is a pacer. I know Don't Believe Me Just Watch this class went in 57 and 1 or 2 the other day. Maybe that's too much for him. It's not what I felt the other day. I can tell you that. I felt 2 horses that are ready to rock. And we'll see. We'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong come Tuesday. And again, the track's going to matter. But the track Dancing by Myself trained on was rock hard. It's going to be rock hard on Tuesday just because it's going to be minus 15 Celsius. And although Admiral Dio's track was not hard on Friday, I don't foresee any issues. So there's a little nugget for everybody out there if you're interested. No guarantees, certainly no guarantees, but I was happy with the way they trained and interested to see how things play out on Tuesday night. So with that, I'm going to continue on my treacherous drive into Northfield. We're now down to 33 miles an hour on the highway. There's an accident over there, I think. Something's over there. Oh yeah. Usually when they get the giant crane things up and 3 cop cars, it's a transport truck. Oh yes, he's pointing in the wrong direction. Nope, that's how they drug him out of the ditch. Anyway, be safe. It's not great weather. It's not good weather at all. Stay home if you don't have to go out, if your weather's like this in your area, because I'm going to tell you one thing. It's not a fun drive. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Good luck to all my partners. I will talk to you all very soon.